This is an 8-foot long viaduct bridge I built. It's built out of 3/4 inch PVC, and it has a somewhat of a caged ribbed underbelly to make those arches. So I'm getting ready to put the finishing on the outside of the PVC, and the way I do that is I block out where I don't want to have any block showing, because I'm going to use those as areas to build out on. And then I'm going to use this DAP patching compound right here. This stuff works wonders on anything, and it's great for this kind of stuff. And then I'm going to use these rubble dollhouse stencils, and they're a little oversized, but they look fine on this for this size of a project. Let's see if I can get this out of the way, and you get an idea maybe of what that's going to look like. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use some stencil adhesive and get my stencil on there, and then I'm going to put the patching compound. So I'll show you how I do that. So I sprayed this stencil adhesive on the back of my stencil, and then I've lined it up on the side of the viaduct where I want it to go. And then this is an ink roller. I think a linoleum roller would work as well too, but I bought this on Amazon, I think, and it works really good. So we just use the roller on here to make sure that the stencils sit down on real tight. Now I'm going to have to turn you off for a second because I'm going to spread this patching compound on, and then I'll turn it back on so you can see how that goes. So the best thing that I've found for putting this patching compound on with these stencils is to use these plastic spatulas. You can get them at Home Depot or Lowe's or any place that you shop for hardware stuff, and they're pretty cheap and they're kind of throwaways. So I'm going to spread some of this on, and I'm going to use this smaller knife to dip it out with. Then I'm going to use the bigger knife to spread it with. So now that I got it on really thin, I used the bigger spackle knife to get it on. I'm going to use this chip brush, and I'm just going to dry tap on it so those blocks have some texture to it. And I'm doing this with one hand, so it's not the greatest. Usually I'm doing this in the shop on a building, and it's a lot easier than sitting out here on a paint bucket. Okay, so I've just pulled the stencil off, and you can see how nice it looks with the grout lines, and the little chip brush brings out the texture. And that's about the way you want it. You want it to be on there thin. It doesn't have to be real thick, because it's going to get hard, and once you paint it, it's going to be fine. So this is the last one coming off for this top section, and I did this whole top section 8 feet, probably about 4.5, 5 inches wide, in about 45 minutes. So looks pretty good. I'm sure it's going to be fine when it all gets done. So here we go. Pull this one off. Really hot out here today, so it's drying really fast. Voila. That's it.